Fake fruit! Fake! Fake! Fake grapefruits! Fake! Liar! You liar!
Woo! Trying to wake back up, folks. I got home from work exhausted. Got a couple of seconds, literally just a couple of seconds to try and recover. And then it's back on the SHTF horse with you guys. Where are we going? Well, I tell you what, it is a thoroughly screwed Thursday if I ever saw one. Oh man. I've got a series of things I want to talk to you about. And of course, I want your response, your questions, your comments, your thoughts. And don't be afraid to throw your questions in the pot. You could go down the same topics, or you could totally go another way, because SHTF is not a one-horse rodeo. It's not. Military, political, financial, educational, you name it. They are just bringing it all at us, full steam ahead. But where I want to go is through a train. Well, maybe as the founding fathers said, a long train of abuses. This is a single abuse that's been on the train, and the wheels have come off today. So there is a criminal supervisory agent from the IRS that's been in charge of a probe into the Biden administration's mishandling of the Hunter Biden investigation. So we've got a couple of things to look at here, folks, and I don't want to get anyone's hopes all the way up so they can be dashed to pieces. And I don't want anyone to just blow this off like it doesn't matter, because it does matter. And we'll talk about things at the very end and go, well, now what? So to start, let's do this. Mark Lytle, a lawyer for the Internal Revenue Service. Well, for the Internal Revenue Service, a particular agent, right? And he sent a letter to the Republicans and the Democrats on the Senate and the House Judiciary Committees. So he basically hit all of the big targets and said he has a client. This lawyer has a client who's an IRS agent, and he wants whistleblower protections in exchange for the information he has to divulge. Now, interestingly, normally someone just puts the information out there and goes, I'm a whistleblower, I'm a whistleblower. This IRS agent is going about this, I might say, a little more prudently, getting a lawyer and going to the House and the Senate, to the Democrats and the Republicans, and saying, I have evidence of a crime. I want to make sure that I get whistleblower protections before I blow my whistle. So this is how it got my attention. This is how it got my attention. Now, here's a quote. Despite serious risks of retaliation, this quote comes from the attorney. Despite serious risks of retaliation, my client is offering to provide you, meaning Congress, Republicans, Democrats, senators, representatives in the House. My client is offering to provide you with information necessary to exercise your constitutional oversight function, and wishes to make the disclosures in a nonpartisan manner to the leadership of the relevant committees on both sides of the political aisle. That's how the letter read. That's pretty important. That's pretty damning. He's trying to say it's nonpartisan, and everyone needs to hear this, and they have a frickin' job to do. Well done, Mr. Lytle, attorney, who claims, right, that the employee of the IRS previously disclosed the information internally at the IRS and to the Department of Justice Inspector General. And nothing's been done. I wonder why. I wonder why, FBI. I wonder why Attorney General Merrick Garland. Remember that name. Of course, I love to screw his name up. You know, Garlic Merrick, garlic sauce, garlic Merrick, just right. Merrick Garland. Now, there's two things that I've got right here that I want to bring up to you. Number one, the IRS agent is a Republican. How do I know? Because if he wasn't a Republican, he never, ever would have continued his investigation past day one. Everything he got, he'd be like, oh my God, my communist piece of crap president's in trouble, and he would have thrown it away. So that's number one out of the two things. Number two, the IRS agent wouldn't go this far unless the evidence was real and unless the evidence was incriminating. Otherwise, it would get slapped down as a lie, fabrication, a political witch hunt. So you bet. He is a Republican, but he's doing this in a nonpartisan way because it's about crime. It's about crime. Number three, we might as well keep going past two, right? We've gotten this far. Number three, the agent is risking not only his career, but his life. So we know it's real. The Biden regime, folks, and his masters, as far as I'm concerned, will do anything, will do everything to protect their money-making operation. So this is going to get shit on, crapped on, hidden, pushed down, shoved out of the limelight at every chance. The mainstream media will get involved, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General's office, the Inspector General's office, the Postmaster General. Everyone with the name General is going to get involved and do nothing. Number four, I will be shocked if this gets any traction beyond this article. Except in the right alt news and news organizations. Now, this came up to me yesterday. And number four, I'm like, I'll be surprised if this goes anywhere. That's what I said to myself. Number four, I don't think it'll get anywhere. So this happened today. The White House refused to comment on this IRS whistleblower who has evidence of a criminal probe that has occurred on Hunter Biden, and he says it is compromised by political interference. Whoa. So it did get a little bit of legs. I don't think it's all over CNN and ABC and NBC and MSNBC and CNBC and FUK NBC, right? And at 10 this morning, well, shortly before 10, when I found out that the White House has refused comment on this attorney's letter to the House and Senate Judiciary Committee chairman and, well, leadership in both parties. I said to myself, well, don't expect arrests, but John, do your job and encourage others to see the conflicts that are going to arise out of this. And I said, okay, we're probably done now. And I stopped worrying about it and stopped thinking about it. And then just a few minutes later, folks, in the morning, the whistleblower who has an attorney who has approached the House and Senate Judiciary Committees, both the Republican and the Democrat side, and basically had this to say: the Hunter Biden story, the Hunter Biden information is a cover-up. And get this, the Attorney General Merrick Garland is in on it. Unbelievable. Now, folks, the reason this is important is I've yet to hear the I word. Impeachment. Now I understand that this whistleblower just started just, this week. It just got public last night. They're just now asking the White House questions like, well, do you have something to say about this? No, we're saying nothing, right? Well, the Attorney General Merrick Garland seems to be in on the cover-up. What do you have to say about that? Well, we ain't saying shit. And, I just kind of let it go and thought, well, that's probably it for the story. And then I was taking a little bit of a lunch break, and the White House decided to change its tune. It issued a statement. Folks, that's not just Karine Jean-Pierre, the idiot, and she's an idiot, denying anything or denying that it's even an issue or going, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. The White House has issued a statement denying that Joe Biden and his political machine is behind the Hunter investigation, cover-up, and political interference that has been claimed by the IRS whistleblower. So now they're recognizing that it's going on. They're accepting that the media knows about it. And while at first they denied any knowledge of it and having to do anything with it, now they've decided they better come out and start denying it. Can you imagine being in the fucking White House? It's crisis management every single day, whether it's the Ukraine military leaks or it's, Joe Biden and the Nord Stream pipeline concerns, or perhaps a whistleblower coming out and saying the Biden administration and his attorney general and the Department of Justice are involved in using their political power to interfere in an investigation into the son of the president, who also, by the way, is tied up with many members of the Biden family in pay-to-play operations. I'm surprised that terminology's gone away. That was a big deal when Hillary was around. If you wanted anything from the Hillary administration, when she was a senator or when she worked for Obama, you had to make a donation to the Clinton Foundation. You bet. You bet. So, quite interesting, folks, quite interesting. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. I wanted to spend some time on that. Don't expect anything huge at this point. But once again, the horse has lifted its tail and it shot shit everywhere. And they won't get that shit back on the horse. But we'll see if the media can ignore it, that the White House can just deny it, and that the story goes away, that the House and the Senate do absolutely jack shit with it. And no, I won't get to hear the word impeach Joe Biden. So let's move on to another SHTF issue. Anheuser-Busch, well, they've gone and put a Clydesdale-sized crap in the middle of their dinner plate by putting a fruitcake idiot on their beer can and then saying, we're just being inclusive, trying to get new people to drink our beer, as if the 0.001% of the population that thinks that, well, self-castration is a good idea, like they're going to sit around and go, I think I need a Bud Light. They're not going to have a White Claw. They're not going to have a Truly. They're not going to have a sparkling champagne while they sit in their bathtub, a bunch of fruitcakes. Oh, no, you see trans types. Trannies love Bud Light. Right. So, well, Anheuser-Busch, now they're in more trouble. You see, once one of these corporations fucks up, sometimes people pile on. So now a lawsuit has been filed against Anheuser-Busch over racist and sexist hiring policies. And the company has failed to define what it means by the word woman. Woman. This, I think, is going to be a brilliant lawsuit because words have meanings and words must be defined in company policy. You can't be vague and frickin' stupid like the federal government and go, Well, I can't really define what a woman is. Companies don't have that. They don't have that ability. They can be sued. The sovereign U.S. government can deny a lawsuit because, we can't have the government be paying out money for all the violations of rights. But look out with a company. They can be sued, and their policy and the words in it have meaning, and they should. I'm tired of this vague and ambiguous, sophistratic pile of shit word, shall we say, factory on TV. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of special words for special people. Tired of that shit. Anyways, they're violating the rules at Budweiser. And now they're going to have to come out and define what it means by a woman. And it's going to be interesting. You see, I don't think the word woman needs a definition. A woman is a human being that has tits and a vagina. There you go. A woman is a human being that has an XX chromosome. So simple. So simple. I don't understand what the freaking problem is. Anyways, there we are. It's coming, folks. It's coming. Free speech. Quite an interesting concept, don't you think? Right now, you would think that New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, those are places where the universities are full of shithead students. Well, at the University of Iowa, a conservative named Matt Walsh was giving a speech, and guess what? He was interrupted by a bunch of these protesters who were blaring their musical instruments and chanting, "Fuck Matt Walsh." There comes a point, I think, where you can have all the free speech you want, but when you purposefully interrupt other people's free speech with the intent of silencing them, I think we may discover something about the law here coming up pretty soon. Pretty soon. I've got another great story that ties right into this one, but let me finish with my thoughts on this. You and I are in the fight of our lives. You need to fight or you are going to perish. You need to stop the insanity that's out there and stand up for yourselves because no one else is going to be able to do it for you. These kids, if you want to make noise, go to a place and make noise. If you are interrupting someone else with your noise, right? I'm starting to think that might be a violation of their rights. Right? If the forum is one where there's a speaker with a podium, where there's a speaker with a microphone, and the audience is expected to be quiet and to listen to the speaker or speakers, I would think interrupting them would constitute an attempt to disturb the peace and bring about a non-peaceful environment. See where I'm going with this? If you want to play instruments and music, go right ahead. Go to a place where it's not interrupting the peace and tranquility of a place, or where it's anticipated that lots of noise and raucous behavior is going to exist, like a football game, right? So I can give one more example. Let's use sports. In golf, when someone is teeing off, whether it's the men's or the women's professional pro golfers association, I don't know about those trans players, but in the men's PGA and the women's PGA, when someone goes to tee, the crowd is asked to be quiet. When someone's about to putt, the crowd is asked to be quiet because that's what's anticipated and expected, right? The crowd knows it. The players know it. So why isn't that same rule that is observed? Because, well, if someone in the crowd gets loud, they remove them. They have no right to be there to make a shit pile of noise, right? But if you want to go make noise, go to another place where noise is anticipated and allowed. Same should go for political speech, philosophical speech. How about educational speech? What if you went to a university, any fucking university, name it, and you went to class where a professor is speaking, any class, any professor, any topic, and you got a foghorn from a boat, and every time the teacher started to speak or professor, you put your loudspeaker, what would they do? They would have you kicked out. They would not allow it. You would be arrested if you refused to leave. So why is it that University of Iowa students are allowed to interrupt the speech of someone who's speaking? My thing is, if no one wants to hear you, they'll just go away. If someone wants to hear you, you shouldn't be impeded by a bunch of idiots who are trying to drown out your message with their own noise. So that leads me to this next concept, folks. We are in the middle of SHTF. SHTF. I just messed up. I hit the wrong button. Okay, well, I'll come back to that story because that's a good one too. Okay, if no one wants to listen, they can go away and go do their own thing. Now, far left, super left wing has a news channel. It's called BuzzFeed. Guess what? It has shut down. You want to know why? Because no one gives a shit about anything they say. The left fails and nobody watches. Nobody watches and the left fails. Have we failed at the Prepared Mind channel? Hardly. We are silenced intentionally because too many people are listening. And that's their problem. No one wants to hear left-wing shit, and they fail. People want to hear this channel and others like it, and they silence us. They punish us. Do you see the fucking problem? If I were to go out in public and start speaking, left-wing idiots would silence me if they could, and if not, they'll drown me out with noise. No one wants to hear their shit. They could go to the next street corner and start talking, and no one would gather. No one would listen. No one would give a shit. That's the left. If I went to the street corner, folks, put up a podium with, I don't know, let's pick your Prepared Mind logo, right? I put it on the front. How about I don't know. How about this one? Right, put this face on the podium. All right, people will be like, "Ooh, what's that angry white dude they're talking about? I think I need to listen." Interesting. No one wants to hear the left, but they'll silence us because people do want to hear what we want to say. They do, folks. They do. Now, we want answers out of Biden, but we're not going to get any. Not going to get any. So, we've got some troubles here, don't you think? Have we nailed it? Have we talked about it? Have you figured it out yet? I tell you. I know a lot of us have missed this. I really missed all the riots of 2020. Well, guess what? The BLM Marxist Antifa types are out assaulting police and damaging businesses because Jayland Walker in Akron, Ohio, well, he was shot too many times. Apparently, when you kill a bad guy, you're only allowed to kill him a little bit. But they killed him all the way, and apparently then some. So it's happened, folks. Riots and police attacks have begun. Welcome to 2020 Revisited. In Chicago, folks. In Chicago, their version of SHTF? Oh, no problem. They're just a bunch of silly kids. The mayor-elect Johnson, that's right, he's mayor-elect. That means Beetlejuice is still the mayor. And these kids are out there attacking and trying to kill people. Well, Mayor-elect Johnson, who's probably even more of a dunderhead, has doubled down defending these riots as, quote, silly decisions. Silly. Silly is how my mother referred to me and my siblings goofing off. Ah, you silly kids. Knock that crap off. Or you guys are so silly, but why don't you take it outside? Silly decisions, folks. Silly. There's a difference between silly and murder. There's a difference between silly and mayhem. There's a difference between silly and arson, and silly and destruction of public and private property. There's a difference between silly and attempted murder, assault, rape, looting, theft. Silly is what kids do, and these aren't kids. These are teenagers and even preteens that are out there committing heinous acts of violence. What I have to say is I'm glad I'm not in Chicago or anywhere near that fucking place. I'm glad. I'm glad I'm down south, where it doesn't matter what color you are or what your age is, you are expected to behave, and you're held to a standard. And if you fuck up, there's sheriffs like Grady Judd, not just in Florida, but all over the South, that have, shall we say, very colorful opinions and very strong feelings about how law is to be treated. Right? We're to respect others, our fellow man and women. We're to respect other people's property and rights. And if you're going to violate those, then you need to have your ass arrested. That's what we need more of. Law and order and accountability. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I said, these left-wing morons, they're special, right? Did I talk about the trans Montana lawmaker throwing a fit? Wanting to, because the Republicans want to bar sex change treatments for children? Yeah, folks. They are thoroughly screwed in the head on the left. Thoroughly screwed in the head. Yeah, I know I covered the Montana tranny in this morning's video. I know that. Right? I know it. I'm just pulling your freaking chain. But I want to remind you, these people are out there. They're out there big time. You know, they're affecting everything. Now get this. ESPN has begun or will begin layoffs next week. And what they're trying to say is, well, Disney's making them do it because they're owned by the Disney Corporation and they have to do their cost cutting, the reduction of overhead. But I'm going to ask this very much like BuzzFeed, who no one wants to listen to, so they're having to just go away. Could it be that the loss of viewers over at Woke SPN, the kind of sports network, could it be that there's a loss of viewers there, which means they're getting a loss of ad revenue, which means they can't afford to pay their staff, and the rest of the Disney Corporation isn't going to pay money to keep Woke SPN on the air, so they've got to start cutting their staff. Good. Good. See, I have to speak within their narrow fucking guidelines, or I get a strike. And today I got another strike, by the way. In the middle of the night, got a strike on the BC channel. So it's a strike. The video is removed, except I already have 2 strikes. But I guess while I'm in detention, they won't remove the channel altogether. I expect every Prepared Mind channel to be removed by YouTube. I expect it. I anticipate it. It's coming. They're going to try and destroy us because they're a bunch of cowards and pussies. They're a bunch of weaklings, and they think they're doing, well, they think they're doing good by getting rid of people who have an opinion that other people want to hear. They can't stand that, folks, that there's 80,000 of us out here in the Prepared Mind land. We're not always online at the same time. We're not always screaming, yelling at the top of our lungs, but we're out here. They don't like that one little ding-dong in his bunker with all his cans of tuna and Spam and his magazines of 5.56 ammo all stacked waiting for that unhappy day. They don't like the fact that people want to listen, that you and I want to talk to each other, that we have something to say that others are interested in. So they want to silence us, folks. I want to bring this up. Okay. We don't have a choice anymore but to fight. You fight or you perish. Now, I talked about that ridiculous woman, white liberal woman, I'm sure of it, who went out during the lawless, mayhem-infested riots of Chicago, where she was dragged, kicking and screaming, and thrown down and had the shit beat out of her. Well, apparently she had her boyfriend with her as well. And he also got dragged down and had the shit beat out of him. But there was a woman, and I guess her husband, who decided that they would stop this because they knew those two people were going to get killed. Right. And then she had some critical comments for the current mayor, Lori Lightfoot. Right. She helped these people. And she was, this person that helped the other two said, well, I voted for Lori Lightfoot. Well, that tells you her politics. But she just couldn't stand to see people getting murdered in the street. Well, welcome to reality, you dimwit. But what this is 100% proof that you and I, that a person cannot coexist with the lawless amongst us. You can't coexist with them. You can't be yourself. You can't be free with the demo rats out there, because that's what they are. They are a bunch of lawless rats. We've seen their existence, have we not? We've seen their existence on television, on the street. We've seen it in the big cities, and we've seen it in Congress. These people are absolute scum. From the top to the bottom, they want lawlessness. All right, I think now I'm going to turn the show over to the inner circle. That's you. You guys, your questions, your thoughts, your comments. And I need you, of course, to share the internet address to the videos. I know right now we're on the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. Might as well call it the Ocho. Look out, folks. All right, here we go. It's time for it's time for the inner circle. Ask John. All righty, Uman says there's several questions, comments, statements, thoughts, and you can go anywhere you want with it. You can go forward into the future with your thoughts. You can look to the past for wisdom. You can just ask a question about anything, bring up a statement, a question, a comment, however you want to word it. How, what, where, when, who, and why. Uman, who do we want to throw up on the board first? And it'll be Charles Gentry. And he has this to say, and I think it might be an astute observation. He says, this screw up by Budweiser, Bud Light, has started a wave. If we react and follow up, we can gain some ground. Thoughts? Yes, definitely. I think this is an excellent opportunity to continue to wake people up. Prep to action, right? People want to talk about Bud, and you go, hey, you think that Bud Light thing is interesting? You should see what these frickin' clowns are doing with the Hunter Biden evidence of crime. And they're like, what? Who's Hunter? I guarantee half the people you know don't know half the story about anything about Hunter Biden. In fact, they may not even know who Hunter Biden is. But you can help them understand. You really can. You can help them understand by giving them more information about Hunter. You can let them know that the CIA helped overthrow the Ukraine government in 2014. That's right. And they installed Zelensky, who is a fruitcake. He is a fruitcake, right? You can help people understand more. And this is a great subject. The Bud Light thing has really pissed a lot of people off. It's waking them up. Help red pill them all the way. And there's a word that the FBI is like, hey, who said red pill around here? We need to stop that red pill stuff. That red pill stuff's getting out of hand. Well, the red pill is brought up by The Matrix. Great movie. Helped wake people up because there was a red pill and a blue pill in Morpheus's hand. The blue pill, you take that, you go back to sleep, you're a sheep. take the red pill and you'll be introduced to a whole different world. Kind of like falling down the rabbit hole, but instead of going into a dream state, you start learning facts and waking up. And you realize that, well, you were in a dream state and now you're living the real nightmare. Right? Now, the truth, it can be frightening, which is a nightmare. The truth can also be liberating, because when you have it, when you have the truth and you contain it, you own the truth, everything else can fade away. All the lies, you are released from their grasp. You're no longer controlled by their lies. And we've been bringing up some lies lately. I've been talking about, why is it that there's all this woke crap, that LGBTQ crap is going on, that they want kids to be transsexuals? I went through that in yesterday's video. What are they up to? Why? Well, get this, folks. Why are we so intent on destroying Russia? Right? Well, there's kind of an unstated reason out there. We're supposed to say, oh, it's because Russia bad, and Russia invaded Ukraine. That's why we need to hate them. Well, there's actually more to it. The U.S., European Union, the lords of the land, they hate Russia also, folks, because the majority of Russia, in fact, Russian spirituality and culture and their religion, they strongly adhere to Eastern Orthodoxy, Eastern Orthodox theology, Eastern Orthodox religion. Now, it's similar to the Roman Catholic Church, but the Roman Catholic Church right now is extremely weak on the issue of LGBT, which is tranny, and Q is queer. They're very weak on it. Now, those U.S. Catholics who oppose the woke trannies and homosexual agenda, well, they're being harassed by the FBI as the FBI infiltrates Catholic churches and looks for those who want to oppose. Isn't this fascinating? Fascinating that, well, Russia isn't weak when it comes to their spiritual and religious beliefs, right? Eastern Orthodox Christians insist, believe, and spread the word that God was created and man was created. Man and woman were created by God. And that, well, it is a sin to be a homosexual and a fruitcake. And they don't make excuses for those with mental illness and allow them into positions of authority and to make them social stars, celebrities, right? So, and not only is it the United States, and not only is it Europe that's kind of on the backside pissed off at Russia, it's their banking system, it's their social and their religious beliefs, their traditions. Folks, more evidence that this is true, that the West hates Russia. Well, the Eastern Orthodox Church isn't just in Russia, it's also in Ukraine. And that church in Ukraine is under an unrelenting attack and surveillance by the Volodymyr Zelensky regime. To give you an example of what's going on, the head of the Eastern Orthodox Church in Ukraine, Metropolitan Pavlo, he's been arrested by Zelensky's secret police goons. And oh yeah, Zelensky is himself a light in the loafers, 100% fruitcake, skinny jeans pole smoker. And Eastern Orthodox religion does not approve of that type of lifestyle. We need to understand, folks, they screwed up with Bud Light, and now a lot more people are paying attention going, what's happening around here? Really? What? Gay? Trans? That was something real? I thought that was a joke on TV. How many people aren't paying a damn bit of attention? A bam dit of attention. A lot of people aren't paying a bit of attention, but it's got their attention now. They're like, I thought that chick on the can was a chick. That chick on the can's got a dick. That ain't right. I ain't drinking that shit. We've got the fight in front of us. It's right in front of us, and we have a chance to gain ground. I agree with you, Charles. Thank you very much for the great topic. Man, where are we going to go next? What direction? It is survival readiness. And he says, sounds like Chicago needs some paintball guns filled with pepper balls for those wilding parties. Once again, wilding. Kids don't need wilding parties. What that is an indicator of is there is zero responsibility, zero parenting, zero discipline. Kids don't need wilding parties. They're already wilded up. I'm going to look up something real quick for you here. I want to see if they still sell them. Pepperball guns. On Amazon, they sell pepperball pistols. So if you want a tear gas agent for yourself, you know I'm not big at promoting Amazon because they screwed over the Prepared Mind channel. They fucked us. But I want to bring up that even though Amazon folks will not allow you to sell gun parts for real guns or any part of a gun or magazine or ammunition, you cannot have any of that shit on Amazon. But they sell pepperball balls with tear gas, pepper spray. They sell the guns, and they look just like guns. You want some self-defense that is non-lethal to keep these freaking freaks away from you? That and pepper spray? You bet. Here's an electric gel ball blaster. I don't know if that's pepper spray, but they do. They have a number, folks. They have taser, pulse, self-defense tool. Yeah, if I lived in Chicago and I wasn't allowed to have a real gun, I just might get me a pepperball gun. I'm sure it feels really bad to get hit with a high-velocity piece of plastic on the forehead, and it gets even more painful and discomfort, right, when that shit gets in your eyes and your nose. Not that I haven't had a good dose of, shall we say, noxious agents that I was exposed to as a jarhead. Makes it a little difficult to think, but, you know, that's the whole point. Can you operate with discipline? All right, let's do this. Man, let's roll on next. They do have pepper balls for Chicago to get those wilders out of our hair. I recommend people doing something about it. Hey, it's Michael Brown. Oh, man, I didn't need to read that shit. Give me one moment, please. This is the type of mentality that I really enjoy, because you guys bring up topics and subjects and then just bring a perspective, pow, out of left field. Michael Brown says, John, if a person is too stupid to figure it out, can they be trusted? Fucking brilliant, Michael. Brilliant. By the way, I really enjoyed talking to you in person, but yeah, if a person, fucking succinct question. If a person is too stupid to figure it out, can they be trusted? The answer is correct. If a person is too stupid to figure it out, they cannot be trusted. Now, if the government, if the media, mainstream media, and if social media and social media enterprises like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube withhold information, it's hard to hold that against other people who are trying to wake up and they can't get the information. They just can't. But if you give it to them and they still can't figure it out, or if if they go, yeah, man, I heard about that shit years ago, and you're like, you haven't figured out how this works? No, I don't think you can trust them, man. It's really just a great fucking way to put it. If they're too stupid, you can't trust them, because they can be. Now, here's why you can't trust them. I don't want to treat this just as just a fucking great comical aside, but if they can't figure it out, it's because they can't critically analyze the information that you've provided or that they've gotten from others. It means they have a belief system that's skewed, and then that they're crippled. See, when someone's stupid, they're mentally crippled. That's how I think about it. They're mentally crippled, impaired, incapable, incompetent. And so they're a simpleton. They're a simpleton. They're a dotard. They're a dunderhead. Right? They're a dumbass. And a dumbass can be easily fooled and swayed to go in a direction that makes no sense. They used to be known as knaves, K-N-A-V-E, knaves and fools. And you cannot trust a knave or a fool or an idiot. And they can be also, folks, because they're dumb and slow, they really only think in terms of the most simplest of concepts. So what do they need in life? They want some beer or some whiskey. They want some weed or some crack, right? They want those basics, and then they've fallen into those paths, right? So they're easily swayed and purchased and bought over. And the government loves that. That's why they do gun buybacks. Bring us in your guns, we'll give you $50. What kind of fucking idiot takes a $1,000 gun and trades it in for $50 to the government? Only the most stupid people would spend $1,000 to get 50 back from the government. You can't trust somebody like that. Now, I do like the idea that stupid people are willing to turn their guns in because they can't be trusted. I think that's why, Michael, so many of us are like, I think government should do all kinds of gun buybacks because only the dumbest amongst us, and likely they're fucking Democrats, will turn their guns in for money, thinking they're doing some good. On the one hand, the political idiots will think that they're helping the world out by turning in their gun. And then the dumbasses are like, yeah, man, I'm out of money this week. I'm going to take that shotgun I paid $500 for, and I'm going to get me $50. Woo! Thank you again, Michael. That is just fucking great, man. That is fucking great. And it's Cottage Farm. Here we go. Another one. Cottage Farm says, you know, I am a good person and had no idea our government was such an asshole. It took Trump to wakey me. This is a good one. I do know that you're a good person. We've had quite a few discussions. And you had no idea that government was evil or bad. And it did take Trump to wakey you. And the reason is that, well, Trump was elected, and right, so it doesn't matter if you were inexperienced, uneducated, politically naive about what was going on in government because you trusted them to handle everything. You're like, oh yeah, the political parties will figure it out. You didn't get it because you're living your life. You're very busy. You're like everyone else out there paying taxes, right? You just trust the government to do it. They're getting paid good money. They should fucking handle it. It's not that you're stupid. It's just that you were preoccupied. But then Trump came to office and instantly was attacked in a way that you never expected. It got your attention because Trump was not a politician. Trump was a celebrity. Trump was a businessman. Trump was a celebrity figure, a super celebrity figure. And because of that, you paid some attention. And then you noticed he was being accused of everything, slandered, that there was a claim that this guy, the President Trump, is a Russian asset. The most ridiculous claims were made about Trump. And so you started looking around and you're like, these people are assholes. And so the Democrats' attack on Trump has woken up the masses in a huge way. Trump right now is more popular than ever because they arrested him, because they're charging him with bullshit crimes. He's more popular than ever because people are like, this is bullshit. And we don't like bullshit. As human beings, we don't like, shall we say, injustices. So when you hear about someone, police shot someone in the next state over that way, right? Some old fuck or some dumb bitch got shot or run over, and you're like, yeah, it's over there. I don't care. Don't know nothing about it. When it's your neighbor and something goes on, you're like, hey, that's a little close to home there, right? And so when it's a unknown politician, political figure, You're like, yeah, fucking politics. When it's Trump, you're like, hey, I've heard of that guy. And you start paying attention. You get a little closer. You start thinking about it. Then you ask around. See, that's where they made their mistake. Just like Budweiser. You see, if pick a no-name fucking beer. Stroh's. In the 80s, Stroh's tried mimicking Budweiser, Bud Light, with their Spuds McKenzie, using a cute dog to sell beer. Yeah, they tried that. So Alex of Stroh's, right, another dog and another beer. They tried that. If Stroh's beer put a fruitcake on their can, no one would give a fuck. No one would care. But because it was Budweiser, a celebrity beer that is not owned by Americans, by the way, it is an American icon that sold out. Hasta la vista. They sold out. But it's still an American icon and people know it. And so they put a fruitcake on that and everyone, hey, what's with this fruitcake action here? Woke people up. Good. Now that they're awake, let's keep them awake. Share this internet address. Get it out there. Tell people to wake up and go, you know what? Here's some information. Let's go with Michael Brown's thought. Here's some information. If you take this information, put it in your head and start thinking about it, you're going to see what's going on and you're going to wakey, as Cottage Farm suggests. But if you give someone the information and they're too stupid to figure it out and they don't wakey, put that person in the I don't give a fuck about them category. Because when shit goes down, they're going to be of no use to you, or they could be a danger. Right? You put them in the no-go category. Put them in the no-go category. Good golly, what a topic. Woo! Okay, Ooman, we got some good ones today. I wonder how much longer YouTube will let me and you and all of us sit here and make salient points about political philosophy before they take us the fuck down. Because, you know, we can't have John on the air with you guys while BuzzFeed takes a flying crap because absolutely nobody pays any attention to it. We got a smart-ass comment coming from Charles Gentry based on fact. Folks, the great thing about satire and humor is that all you have to do is take a comment, a thought, a question, and an issue, and you add a little bit of truth to it, and all of a sudden it starts making sense. BLM showed up in 2020. They started having riots because, well, St. George Floyd, a felon, a scumbag who pointed a gun at a woman's belly, pregnant woman's belly, while conducting a home invasion robbery and trying to steal her fucking car, that guy, who, and then the poor dumb son of a bitch, right, is suffering from a fucking fentanyl overdose while committing the crime of money laundering or check kiting or something, or passing counterfeit notes, or all of the above, while overdosing on fucking fentanyl, is telling the cops, I can't breathe, man, I can't breathe. And then they try and arrest him and he can't breathe some more. Right? What the fuck is going on? Right? This causes all these riots across the country. So BLM comes along and they make $57 billion or thereabouts from political donations from, that's right, regular people on the street plus corporations. Unbelievable, ungodly amounts of cash thrown at a Marxist organization. BLM. Not only are they Marxist, they're trans-Marxist. Literally, folks, BLM had transsexual Marxist propaganda and what do they call that thing? A manifesto. What, are they out of money? So now it's time to riot again and start claiming racism is ruining America? What's ruining America is people who are dividing America in order to destroy it. Schools, colleges, government, people who lie about our country and its origins. It's not a perfect world, folks. It's not a perfect world, but it's not about race. It's about improving ourselves. I really think that's where we need to be, is improving ourselves as individuals and as groups, as communities, as tribes, as whatever the fuck you are, right? Every culture on this planet is enslaved other people or killed other people and killed them over politics, over race, over gender, right? How do you think all those really gorgeous blonde women ended up in Scandinavia? You know, I think the gorgeous part was the Vikings went down and they would slaughter people in villages, and they would like kidnap the really hot ones and take them back up to Finland and Norway and Sweden and Denmark and Iceland. And should I be the should I be hated because they did that? I don't hear anyone, screaming and yelling about that. They seem to have gotten over it in Europe, and they've got other problems now. Anyways, I like to make that point. It's doesn't matter what everyone does it. Like in Africa, it was a warrior tribes that would capture their enemy and sell them as slaves to the frickin' Dutch, who would then turn around and boat them up to America and sell them there, and then take shit from America over to Europe, and then take the boats back down to Africa. There's some kind of trade triangle thing going on there. It's awful. But do you spend the next, 150 years after all that shit's been outlawed and passed on and continue to relive it and relive it and relive it and relive it? And then use that hatred and anger over history from hundreds of years ago to try and destroy a nation. That's exactly what these fucking people are all about. And I don't care for them. I like the freedom and liberty that we all have and that we all share, regardless of gender or color or religion or anything. But it's those people that show up that want to take it away from you or me that pisses me off. They're not good people. Oh, by the way, the Office of Special Counsel has found the Biden administration official has violated federal law, and quote, was so obviously concerning. Folks, there's so much shit going on in the Biden administration. I just wanted to give you a little more of it, just a little tad more over what's going on. And the answer is impeachment. Where is McCarthy? Speaker of the House. Yo, McCarthy, you dumb white Democrat son of a bitch. What the hell? I mean, oh no, he's a Republican. But why isn't he impeaching Biden then? Why not? You big idiot. Yeah, it's because he's compromised. He's a sellout. He doesn't really care. He just likes power. He's there for the money. He's there for the whatever he does with his male roommate all the time. People inside the government, whether it's the IRS or the Office of Special Counsel, they keep finding all of these ways that the Biden administration has interfered with or participated in or organized cover-ups, shakedowns, laundering. It's incredible. I mean, get this. Let me go all the way back to this. I've been wanting to get to this and wanting to get to this and wanting to get to this. Taylor Swift, that cute little tart that sings. She rejected a $100 million FTX sponsorship. That's right, FTX. That's the company that took how many billions of dollars? 50, 60, 100 billion? I don't fucking know, because they won't tell us. And they took that money and they said they were going to invest in cryptocurrency, and then they turned around and laundered the money through Ukraine and then gave it to American politicians and other people. Anyways, Taylor Swift rejected this offer of sponsorship, right? In other words, using her and her name and her face, I guess, to benefit from what FTX was doing. So, folks, what we have here is the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Fear of missing out was at play here. Now, Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry David, and other celebrity promoters, they're being sued right now because of their endorsement of the FTX brand. Taylor Swift, though, isn't amongst them. She apparently was the only celebrity to have a good, shall we say, a real financial advisor. She didn't jump on board the stupid train, right? Because her financial advisor, and I'm not going to say she was the smart one who understood this, but I'm sure her financial advisor said, hey, I had some questions about these being unregistered securities. Now, very quickly, it appears Taylor Swift did have some good financial advice because she didn't get on board the stupid train. But folks, having money is zero guarantee you will succeed or always succeed in what you try. And I'm going to take this and turn this around into the world of prepping. Even us little people just need to pay attention and take prudent steps and avoid these pitfalls. This is a big fucking pitfall that Taylor Swift saw. $100 billion, turned it down because there was a pitfall. She didn't want to endorse FTX because they were selling NFTs and other crap, and they're unregistered securities. But, you know, we're not going to get offers like that. But we have an offer. It is avoid all the pain and suffering that's coming out there. All the SHTF pain and suffering. Right? Being a prepper is the best way you and I can begin benefiting by seeing what is out there. So Shaq and Tom Brady and others did not see all the problems, right? Because having money is no guarantee you're going to make it through the shitstorm. Being a prepper is good, right? You'll be your own bank. You'll be your own store. You'll be your own pharmacy. You'll be your own security. You'll be your own, well, department store. And so I want to kind of thank Taylor Swift for demonstrating to us that listening to smart people is smarter than listening to the greed that we have inside us. Greed for power, greed for money. The people who are in social media and running it, they're greedy for power to control others. And it's going to bite them in the ass. And I really hope it bites hard, bites long, bites deep, and doesn't let go. The time is going to come when all of these failed social media companies like BuzzFeed, right? They'll learn their lesson, right? But you and I, we just need to be preppers. We need to hang on. We need to get prepared. We need to help others understand. So you hit the thumbs up. You hit the subscribe button. And you help others wake up and find out whether or not they're too stupid to do anything and figure it out for themselves after that, right? And then they need to wakey. Thank you again, everybody, for having just a great show. Thank you so much. Semper Fi. Tomorrow, we'll do Zero Dark 30. Then we're going to do, well, the Friday Free for All. And then after that, of course, Sunday, we're going to do Sunday Night Live, The Zoo, once again on the backup to the backup to the backup channel. Because, yeah, social media wants to silence you and me while allowing companies like BuzzFeed to run unimpeded, but they run themselves right into the fucking ground because they suck and no one cares what they say. Interesting, is it not? This channel here, The Prepared Mind, should have millions of subscribers because the message is something that makes sense. The left makes no sense, and that's why they put fruitcakes on beer cans. And then they still question what went wrong. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed, Semper Fi.